You know, all of this information is already on my website, but I guess people just want a video. So yes, this is a condensed, honed-in snapshot of my IEM ranking list on my website, which I've already ranked 1,000 plus IEMs. Now this kind of serves as my self-introduction as well. Who is this guy that is on my YouTube video? What is his credentials? Why should I listen to him about the best IEMs? So for those who don't know, hello, my name is Crinacle. I run crinacle.com in-ear fidelity, which currently hosts the world's largest public database of headphone and earphone measurements. Yes, hold your applause. And of course, I've ranked like 1,000 plus IEMs, as I've mentioned, and a few hundred other headphones. You know, at this point, I've kind of done this disclaimer over and over again. It feels like I'm repeating myself. But yes, while I would like to believe that you can trust me, there are still some disclaimers that I have to put out. First of all, for these selections and in extension my entire ranking list is only based on sound performance, so things like durability, build quality, aesthetics, accessories, yada, all of those I do not care about. My selections are purely on sound, and that's it. If you watch my videos, you know exactly what you're getting into. Second, and should be pretty obvious, this is all my own opinion. This is a very subjective hobby. People can like different things. People even hear differently. So I am not claiming to speak for literally every other human being on this planet. This is just me doing a little YouTube video and telling you about some of the best $100 IEMs according to me and according to my experience. And of course, thirdly, I'm not going to include any true wireless buds, no TWSs. I've already done an entire video on that, so if you're interested in that, well, you can go there. Alright, all that out of the way, let us begin. What exactly are the best $100 IEMs in the market? It is the most popular price bracket by far. Every single time I go online onto a forum, there's always going to be a newbie asking, I want to spend $100 on IEMs, but I don't know what to buy. So if you're obsessed to sound like I am, let me first give you the bigger kahuna, the best sounding sub $100 IEMs, at least in my opinion, the Etymotic ER2 series. At this point, people would already expect it. The Etymotic ER2 is an abnormality. I have talked and reviewed this IEM before, and I've already said it to people. If you can handle it, you might as well buy it. It is a very well tuned IEM. It's made by Etymotic, so of course it's gonna be neutral, but it comes in two different flavors of neutral. On one hand, you have the SE model, which is the more flat and if you are afraid of bass. And on the other hand, you have the XR model, which has a somewhat substantial bass boost. It's not a lot. The bass boost is still very much controlled to the lowest octave, so it never ever bleeds, but still, it's an XR model. It is essentially the bass boosted model. And of course, because it's using a dynamic driver, some people even prefer it over the ER3 and even the ER4 because it doesn't have any of that BA timbre. That is of course if you believe in that. But maybe I've caught on to something that I've said earlier on, if you can handle it. So why shouldn't you get one? Yeah, some of you know exactly what's coming next. The Etymotic IEMs are infamous for basically requiring you to violate your ear holes to use them. They sound the best in a deep fit, and that basically means shoving the IEMs as deep as possible into your ears. I'm talking real deep. Like for a newbie, if you shove it in and you think, all right, I think it's deep enough, it's not deep enough. Go deeper. And for that, yes, it can get a little bit intrusive. It may be a little bit uncomfortable. You know, it's an IEM that is for the more masochistically inclined. But again, if you can handle all of that, in my opinion, it is one of the best sounding, if not the best sounding $100 IEM that you can buy. But even though the Etymotic ER2 is the best sounding, it is not the most popular. For that, we have to go to Moondrop's own Aria. The Moondrop Aria is what I would consider the ultimate default recommendation for virtually any newbie. Someone asked for $100 IEMs, but you don't want to recommend them an ER2 right off the bat because you don't want them to, I don't know, touch their brains with their IEMs. In that case, you just recommend the Moondrop Aria. It's the most traditional IEM, metal build, detachable cables, all the works. As if everything else in this list is very well tuned, it comes with a slightly Harman-ish tuning, maybe a little bit on the warm side, but because of that, it's also the most pleasing. There are very few people that I know who would outright say that they hate the Arias, because it is not a signature that is outright hateable. So I know I'm not going to talk about anything other than sound, but you know, apart from sound, it still has everything else ticked out. The durability is decent, the accessories that they give is pretty good, it has the Moondrop name. I think the only caveat is that perhaps the paint could come off if you live in a very humid environment, but even then it's like 80 bucks. You really can't complain too much about it. So that is the default recommendation. The Moondrop Arias, I think most people would expect me to mention it, but now we have a new competitor. Who is it? DUNU Titan S. This was an interesting one for me. I didn't really expect DUNU to be hitting so hard and so fast, but they did with the Titan S, and I love them for it. The Titan S comes in the same vein as the Aria. It is competing basically on the same grounds with arguably better build quality, but yes, you're getting that Harman-ish tuning, maybe a little bit more upper mids forward compared to the Aria, definitely less bass than the Aria, but that also means that you have diversity in flavors when picking out your $100 IEM. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit more forward, a little bit more intense than the Aria, then maybe consider the Titan S, because they basically again play on the same field. I do genuinely think that the Titan S at least deserves the same level of popularity as the Aria. So here is my way of trying to, you know, fix that flaw. Go DUNU. And the fourth choice that I have for this list can be a little bit of a dark horse, but I feel like it does have its own cult following, and that is the HiFi T3 Plus. Another great IEM, well tuned, well paced. I think it's the cheapest of the lot at this point, and is a solid, absolutely solid sub $100 performer as well. Now, I don't think that the T3 Plus is going to outright beat or even directly compete with the Titan S, the Aria, and definitely not the ER2, but I feel like it at least deserves a good mention that isn't part of the honorable mentions, which I'll get to later, because I feel like it just hits all of its criteria right. It is a good IEM that outperforms almost everyone else in its price bracket. Now, apart from those, I feel like there are a few IEMs that do perform almost on the same level at a far cheaper price. I'm talking like sub $30. I'm going to mention them for now, but I'm not going to say too much because I am going to do a sub $50 version of this video, so you can look forward to that instead. The Moondrop True, which I just reviewed, is an IEM going for $20 and basically plays with the $100 people. It is an amazing IEM. You should look at it, watch my review, just buy it anyways. There's also the Tripowin Leia, which I feel also plays around the same ballpark of the True and is an amazing IEM for whatever price it's going for right now. I'm sure it's under $30. And yes, I know people have been asking me to talk about it. I will eventually. It's the CCA CRA, basically the V-shaped king at sub $50. You're not gonna get anything better than this if you're looking for that specific bass and treble boost. But hey, if you're looking for something else instead, why not go to headphones.com? This is an ad read, by the way. Headphones.com is the premier online headphones retailer for the discerning American audiophile, and that includes you too, Canadians. You're technically American. With a wide range of all sorts of audio components, including but not limited to amplifiers, DACs, IEMs, and of course, headphones. Still worried about your purchase? If you ever just want to try something even for a small fee, Headphones.com has an unprecedented 365-day return policy. According to my deep and in-depth calculations, I believe that is 1 year. Also, to avoid conflict of interest, all my listed recommendations are not available on headphones.com at the time of publication. Go to headphones.com and up your audio game today. Support the people who support me. So I know that upon talking about all of these IEMs, there would inevitably be people asking, why didn't you talk about this IEM or that IEM or yada yada yada. Shh. Now, as I mentioned, all of my thoughts on various IEMs can be found on my IEM ranking list on my website. Link is down in the description. So if you're looking to see my thoughts on a particular IEM, or if you're just wondering why I didn't put whatever IEM you stand onto this list, just go down and see if I talk about it. And if not, tough. But I feel like I have to do some dishonorable mentions because some things just need to be shamed. For example, the one more triple driver. I have no idea how this IEM got as popular as it is. It is the definition of absolute sheer mediocrity. I have absolutely nothing is good about this IEM, and it's still the mainstream latches onto it like some fucked up parasite and tells every single one of these readers that it's somehow the best $100 IEM. I do not get it. I'm telling everyone right now, the one more triple driver is absolutely just, it's not even mid, it's like bottom mid. It's not a good IEM, and the fact that it has triple drivers at this day and age, not even special anymore. Look, the Chinese now are like shitting out 20 driver IEMs for $20. Something like this is been there, done that. I know some of you may say like, oh, the one more triple driver won so many awards. What are you talking about? This is a case where it's like the awards, I have never heard of them. Have you heard of this award or that award or that award? No, I swear to God, I feel like someone is just making up awards on the spot and just giving it to random products. You know what? Just the whole one more rant thing, I'm over it. I'm over it. Let's move on to the next dishonorable mention. The SE215. Yes, I know, the Shure SE215 is basically a staple in the pro audio industry, kind of like the Audio-Technica M50. Yes, the SE215 is essentially the M50 of IEMs. It is somehow super popular, but at the same time, it is garbage. It's just garbage. Is there a reason why this IEM got so popular and still is so popular? I understand if it was popular back in the day because there wasn't like a lot of competition, but now I still have people asking me, Crin, is the SE215 still a good IEM in 2022? No, whatever your thoughts may be on the other $100 IEMs, the SE215 is kind of the default recommendation. Let's say if you were singing at a church, or if you just need to give your musicians some sort of IEMs for stage use. You know, it's one of those things where I guess you have to buy something on the company's credit card. Fine, SE215s. But as a listener, as a proper consumer, run from it. No. And the final dishonorable mention, which is kind of like targeting an entire brand rather than a specific model, is KZ. Yes, I know I've worked with KZ, but at the same time, I still need to criticize their older products, which have been the more popular ones. The popularity of KZ has been proliferated by many popular YouTubers, and I myself just feel like it is kind of overrated. Like, yeah, sure, you're getting a lot of drivers in the IEM and some accessories, detachable cables. It is a lot of things that you can get at a cheap price. But sound is not one of them. There is a reason why when you scroll down my ranking list, you see almost every single KZ shoehorned into the ranking of C. It's just not special. It's the most generic V-shaped kind of sound, and it seems like they repeat the V-shaped kind of sound over and over and over again. So almost every single KZ IEM just basically sounds exactly the same as one another. It's basically copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. So yes, I'm predicting that there are going to be a lot of KZ fanboys in the comment section. This entire section of the video is just for you. But I guess apart from all the negativity and all the dishonorable mentions, let me just talk about the honorable mentions for now. The IEMs that almost made the podium, but not quite. The Audiosense DT100, a surprisingly well-tuned single driver from the Chinese brand Audiosense, rather underrated pick, but here you go, here's your 15 seconds of fame. The ThieAudio Legacy 2, a 1+1 hybrid from ThieAudio, is pretty alright. I feel like it does its job well, just really it is far outperformed by everything else that's it on the list. The Tripowin X HBB Mele, if you want something that is bassy but not completely muddy, this is pretty much your only choice. The Mele is a great choice for those wanting that thumping bass, but still wants to hear, I don't know, the rest of the instruments. And finally, the tin HiFi T4. It's a little bit outdated today, but I still feel like it belongs on this honorable mentions. Again, this is not supposed to be on the list, it's almost on the list. And with all of that said and done, that is my best $100 IEMs. according to one guy. You guys have no idea how outdated things can get in the IEM world. I could have made this video today and probably be like somewhat outdated next week. I don't know. There's like 10 million IEMs that come out a week. But until then, I guess you just have to be happy with this content. So let me just shout out my big money boys. Here are all of your glorious names who have subscribed to my $20 beryllium tier. And for those who have subscribed to my $30 tier, allow me to speak out your names: McMadface, Dennis, Laughing Psychonaut, Jerry, HK57, Moneyboy, Fisk, Ozzy, Lauren Ipsum, Noofed, TJ Daily, Mr. Overlord 12, Charlie Rowe 222, crinacle, Beltramo, Rodrigo, The Angry Persian, Thomas, Alicia Burrito, and Danimals. Thank you all. I see you, Dangpods fans. I see you. See you next week. Don't die. Fuck off.